Thank you, Earl. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. And I have to say that this webinar is especially meaningful to me because, like you, as Earl told you, I'm an accountant. And as you'll see, everything I'll share with you today has been filtered through the lens of accounting principles. You know, I became an accountant because, like you, I love business. To me, accounting represented the science of business. But as I grew professionally, I came to realize that there was something missing. There was a gap in gap. And I began to refer to this missing link as the management gap. And I came to realize that accounting represented only half of the puzzle, the quantitative half. And what was missing was the qualitative half that was represented by quality management methods like, well, you're probably familiar, like Baldrige, EFQM, TQM, ISO, Six Sigma, quality circles, Kaizen, and the list goes on and on. Both sides of the equation, the quantitative and the qualitative, are vitally important. They're like the yin and yang of business, right? One is not complete without the other, and they are both much more powerful when used together. But in my quest to fill the management gap, I discovered that there was a problem. Where accounting methods are easily accessible to all size businesses with wonderful software tools, such as you know, the qualitative side of the equation, the management half of the puzzle, is not accessible to smaller organizations because no one ever translated the qualitative science of business management into an equally practical tool that smaller organizations can use. So to help fill this management gap, I founded the Breakthrough Project. And our mission is to make quality management practices easily accessible to all sized businesses, even startups. So for today's agenda, I'll start by explaining to you what the Breakthrough Project is about, why we created it, why we hope you will join our movement, and join it really for the benefit of your clients and for your practice. Next, we'll discuss how you can benefit from the valuable resources of the Breakthrough Project and why Breakthrough and ManageHub are the perfect complement to your firm's accounting services. And next, we'll talk about how the Breakthrough Project offers an amazingly easy way for you to launch a new management advisory services profit center. Then, I'll walk you through a ManageHub management advisory services engagement. It's a simple three-step process. Stage 1 is an assessment phase, Stage 2 is an implementation phase, and Stage 3 is an ongoing maintenance phase. And lastly, I'll invite you to participate in our free beta training course that I just kind of put the finishing touches on in preparation for this call today, and I'll answer all of your questions. Okay, so let's get started. What is the Breakthrough Project? We are an all-volunteer grassroots movement co-founded by the SBDC think tank and the Business Coaching 2.0 community with the support and encouragement of the U.S. Baldrige Performance Excellence Program and several other organizations. For those of you who do not know, Baldrige was founded by the U.S. Congress in the mid-1980s, and its purpose was to encourage organizations to adopt quality management practices. It has become the gold standard of quality management and has been copied or adopted by almost every major or emerging economy in the world. Our Breakthrough and ManageHub approach is closely tied to this Baldrige theory. So everything that we're going to discuss today is tied to tried and true quality management practice theory. Well, if it were not for the support and encouragement of Baldrige and the other organizations, we wouldn't be talking today. Like I said, Breakthrough is an all-volunteer and all-grassroots movement, so if you know of any organizations, if you're associated with accounting or professional organizations or trade associations, manufacturing associations, anyone that you feel would be a good partner for us, we are always eager to collaborate, so please help us form alliances. Okay. That was the commercial. What is our mission? Like I said before, the mission of the Breakthrough Project is to provide startups and smaller businesses with an easy, practical, and step-by-step on-ramp to quality management practices. In other words, to fill your management or the management gap. So what are quality management practices? I already mentioned popular quality models that you've heard of, like Baldrige and EFQM and Six Sigma and ISO. But quality management has also been popularized by best-selling books like Good to Great, E-Myth, The Goal, and so many others. And quality management is also a familiar topic covered in most popular business magazines like Harvard Business Review and Fast Company and Inc. And the same quality management theory is also taught by every MBA program in the world. The point is that there is a common thread that runs through all quality management resources. So the problem is not that we don't know what quality management practices are. The problem is that they are either too theoretical or too complex for smaller organizations to use. So the great innovation of the Breakthrough Project is where the other methods, books, and university curriculum focuses on what a business needs to do to become great. Breakthrough and ManageHub focuses on how to create a great, efficient, and high-performing company. And as you'll see, using ManageHub, it's not difficult for us to accomplish this for our clients. Okay, so why is breakthrough important now? Well, as you know, who's in a better position than you to know that small businesses are suffering? Many are failing for the wrong reasons. And we all know the dire statistics that over 70% of small businesses fail in their early years, and then 90% plus end up closing their doors without an exit. Also, to make matters worse, there's the recent credit crunch and new lending rules, and it's tougher than ever for smaller organizations to even qualify for credit. Well, ManageHub can help here too, because with greater efficiency and improved profitability, more businesses will qualify for access to the credit that they need. Also, all this disorganization and inefficiency and lack of focus is causing enormous stress on owners and their families. And here too, we can help by using ManageHub and the breakthrough resources, we can help restore a business owner's work-life balance. So let's take a deeper look and discuss what is causing all this pain. And I like to think of it as a three-legged stool. You can see the graphic right here. And I like this analogy because you need all three legs to build a solid business. You need the marketing leg, you need the accounting leg, and you need the management leg. But the problem is the management leg is often the missing link. It's the missing leg. The problem starts at startup because during their startup phase, most business owners focus almost exclusively on marketing. And then they add accounting, right? But only reluctantly when they're forced to, when they're seeking a loan or they're filling out tax returns. Most business owners don't focus on management until it's too late. They're already suffering from slowing pains and their growth has plateaued, as indicated in the yellow circle there on the growth chart. Well, again, here we can help. ManageHub can help get the business growing again by retrofitting the company with the management infrastructure, the quality management, applying those quality management principles that they need to scale. And it's simply by filling that management gap. By adding the right amount of management sophistication and as early in the company's life cycle as possible, we can do enormous good for these companies. So I hope you're beginning to see that the Breakthrough Project and ManageHub is a worthy movement for you to help start in your communities. All right, so let's move on now to the second part of our agenda. The question here is, how can you use the resources of the Breakthrough Project to build a successful management advisory services practice? Well, over the last 3 years, the Breakthrough Project has evolved into a very robust turnkey MAS solution. It includes 2 books. The Breakthrough book was our first, and to date, over 10,000 copies have been downloaded. It features a step-by-step business optimization methodology and it includes 8 management tools. All of them are in Word or Excel. The ManageHub book was published on July 4th of this year, and it takes the breakthrough approach to the next level by automating its step-by-step methodology using free cloud-based ManageHub software. And what's great about the Breakthrough and the ManageHub books is that it serves a double role. First, they are free giveaways. You can use them to attract management advisory services clients, and then once you find your clients, you can use the books as your textbook to structure your systematic MAS engagement. You'll see more what I mean about the versatility of the books after you read them. Also included with the Breakthrough project are workshops, PowerPoints, training guides, marketing methods, and more, including, and most importantly, the ManageHub software. So there's a lot of value here for you. And why is Breakthrough perfect for accountants? Well, to start, quality management consulting is a traditional complement for accounting services. For example, Accenture has its origins with Arthur Andersen, and then there's Deloitte Consulting and Ernst & Young Consulting. Every major accounting firm has expanded into management consulting, and so should you. Also, quality management services reinforces your position as the most trusted advisor and makes you the coveted first call. Whenever there's an issue, whenever there's a question, you want your clients to call you first so that you can advise them and guide them. And it provides you with a new and consistent and predictable revenue stream. And it increases your local influence and reputation. And it gives you new opportunities to possibly expand your business and offer services related to ISO, Six Sigma, automation, and I don't know, there's so much more. And in addition to being right size for small business and easy to sell, the ManageHub and Breakthrough approach and its systematic approach makes it easy to delegate to your team. So in other words, our Breakthrough and ManageHub services are scalable. You can learn them and then train your people and grow and grow and grow and grow. And lastly, you can leverage quality management services to attract new accounting clients because it gives you another topic to cover in seminars and workshops, and it connects you on an emotional level with small businesses in your community. It's hard to connect emotionally on quantitative side of the equation. It's much more easy to connect emotionally on the qualitative side. How does the business impact the lives of these small business owners? So I hope you're beginning to see the opportunity here. And another reason that the Breakthrough Project is such an exciting opportunity is because it helps you give your clients much needed relief from their pain. How many clients do you know that have these common issues? They're disorganized, they're inefficient, they're too dependent on specific employees doing specific work. So there's knowledge silos and there's knowledge hoarding, and they can't scale, and there's inconsistent quality, and there's recurring problems, right? They're always putting out the same fires, and they feel out of control, and they lack clear focus, and they feel their employees kind of lord it over them. Like you sometimes wonder who is the employee, you or the owner or the employee. And then, of course, reality hits them at some stage that they can't sell their business, and you wonder, are they even a business? So it's an epidemic, don't you think? And what small business, do you even know small businesses who don't have these kinds of pain points? Well, again, using ManageHub and the Breakthrough Project, you can help your clients resolve their pain. Another reason ManageHub management advisory services are easy to sell is that they're very tangible. They're systematic and methodical, just like accounting. And business owners get it because they see the value. They like the deliverables. In the same way that they like having an online accounting system, they like having an online management system. For them, it'll be one place where they can store all the know-how of running their business. So instead of the information being in the heads of their people or their own head, it could be online and stored and available and accessible whenever it's needed. And it's also one place where everyone can share their ideas and resolve problems. It creates a real community, whether they're local or whether they're in multiple communities, geographically distributed. Even the step-by-step engagement of the ManageHub engagement plan is inviting to a business owner because its deliverables have such enormous value, as you'll see in a moment. And it starts with an assessment. That assessment and setup phase includes an analysis of the company's organizational problems, customer complaints, inefficiencies, and it takes a look at the opportunities for innovation and improvement in new products and new markets that have never been acted upon. The assessment phase also includes the completion of what we call a business model map that analyzes all the company's processes. And this first stage includes the setup of their company's ManageHub, which is always very exciting. The second stage is an implementation phase, and it focuses on process improvement. And the last stage is ongoing maintenance, and it's designed to keep the company's innovation culture performing. So let's take a closer look at these three stages and see how you can structure a very systematic management advisory services engagement. Again, like I said before, it is so systematic that you'll ultimately be able to delegate it to your accounting staff. And in stage one, it's an assessment, planning, and setup phase. During this phase, you and your staff will use several breakthrough and ManageHub tools to survey your client's employees and other stakeholders to identify problems, customer complaints, and other issues that are creating a drag on quality and a drag on efficiency and growth. At the same time, you'll also gather ideas for innovation, new markets, improving products, and other untapped opportunities. So let's take a look now at one of these information gathering tools. It's called the Employee Coaching Worksheet, and it can be completed in one-on-one interviews with company employees and stakeholders or during group workshops. So I'm going to go ahead here. Okay. There you go. All right. Sometimes it works. So the Employee Coaching Worksheet is a very powerful opportunity or tool that you can use to gather information, the information that you need to complete and aggregate information in the assessment phase. And here you can see, imagine you're running a workshop and you're inviting the employees to identify the current processes that they perform in the company and what processes they'd like to train in immediately and what they feel that they would like to be doing in the future. So one of our objectives is to create a learning culture within the organization. This does a lot of things, including encouraging people to share their knowledge of what they currently do so that they can move up in the organization as it grows. So again, using this worksheet, you'll also be able to collect the ideas, the insights, the problems, the complaints, the worries that these employees have, the ideas, their ideas for opening new markets and improving products, and you'll document those here in this space. And also you can identify what projects they're working on. And if you're in a group session or if you're one-on-one, you can also start coaching them and seeing how aligned they are with creating a great company. Are they willing to share their processes and document them? Are they willing to share their ideas for improvement? Are they actively learning new processes? Are they willing to cross-train their peers in the processes they currently perform? And are they aligned with the need that everyone focus on quality and customer satisfaction? Once you've created this form and you have all the information gathered and collected from every single individual participant in the organization, then you're ready to aggregate it using the survey analysis worksheet, which is right here. So this worksheet, which as you could see is an Excel spreadsheet, which you could modify in any way you like, is used to aggregate all of the survey related information that was gathered using the employee coaching worksheet. And here it does several things. First, it organizes all of the ideas into some form of category. I used department headings. You also can identify key stakeholders and identify if they were the ones who reported the issue. You can also indicate how many times that issue was reported by other people, because the more frequently that issue has been reported, the more impactful it would be to resolve the issue or implement the improvement. Also, the second half of the worksheet has you identify a solution. So it's not just enough to identify the problem, you're also speaking to these stakeholders, and they're offering ways to improve the organization to resolve these issues. And oftentimes what I've found is that one or two or three projects will resolve about 80% of these issues. Most of these small business issues are related to key operational dysfunction. So in the top column here, you could have projects and indicate which of these issues will be resolved by one project. And then on the right-hand side, you have one-off projects, which are used to resolve one project at a time. So it's not going to be as much leverage in implementing these projects. And what this allows you to do then is prioritize which issues will be resolved first, second, and third. So it's a very powerful deliverable that allows the business leadership to see in a 30,000-foot perspective all the work that they have to do, but again, how potentially easy it might be to resolve it all. All right, now let's go back to our presentation, and let me show you the second tool. The second deliverable is the business model map. And here, what you do is, again, using that same source document, that employee coaching worksheet, for example, you identify all of the processes that are managed by each department in the company. This is a powerful visual for the business leaders who oftentimes are not familiar with how their organization functions, all the moving parts, because again, many times they will have delegated large areas of the company to employees. In fact, it's kind of fun to talk about this. Some of the most familiar business advice that any business owner will get is from consultants is that they're supposed to delegate responsibility to good people and let them do their job. Well, yes, but first they have to have in place a way to document the processes, identify them and document, standardize, and systematize them. Otherwise, those people that they delegate the processes to will become the process owner. And that knowledge will be retained by individual people and not the company. And that's where a lot of the dysfunction comes from. And when you use this business model map to identify departments and break those departments down into processes, you also identify which employees perform these processes. And are the processes systematized with automation or checklists or computers or whatever, software rather? And are they standardized? Do they have step-by-step operating procedures that are good enough to train somebody in performing the operation should, Larry and Bob and Tony not be available? And is there a strategic improvement objective that they can suggest to make this process even better? And you do this for the entire company. And I just saw one that one of the consultants were training created for, of all things, an accounting firm. And there were like 150 processes there. It was a thing of beauty. And the report that I received back from the consultant working with the accounting firm was that this was powerful, that this had tremendous meaning and value to the CPA owner, because now he understood what areas of the company were weak and what had to be strengthened, and they could put together an action plan. So that brings us to our next element, which is the ManageHub quality model. So let me go ahead and click on this ManageHub quality model. So what we did was we developed a graphic that helps you identify a starting point. And how this works is, and this is really wonderful. So I hope you, I hope you like it. It's really valuable because the mistake that most organizations make when they're deploying quality improvement is they try and take one quality element and deploy it to the entire organization. And what that does is it makes it very difficult to experience holistic improvement. And what we've done is we've identified the Baldrige-based holistic set of capability requirements. For example, the process is documented with policies, procedures, and training methods, and improvement objectives are established for every process. And for the employees, they're actively participating in documenting and improving the process. And the leaders are enforcing use of their company's leadership framework, and they're promoting best practice culture. And we're applying them to one process area at a time. And based upon the business model map and the survey analysis worksheet, you and the leader of the company will be able to identify which process areas they want to optimize first. And as you optimize the company, you'll be training the process team members, and they will become your champions and internal coaches and consultants who will then help you onboard additional process teams. So the start is slow and methodical and allows you to concentrate all of your energy and effort on onboarding one or two process teams to start, but then you're slowly creating an army of champions, internal champions, who can rapidly help deploy quality throughout the organization. And we're not talking about deploying one tiny piece of quality to the entire organization. We're talking about applying the entire holistic quality framework throughout the organization. So it could be a rapid ascension. Kind of an exciting thing. We could talk more about it in a moment. Okay. So once you have the three pieces of the puzzle, the deliverables, which again are the survey analysis worksheet, the business model map, and the ManageHub quality model, now you're ready to set up ManageHub. So let's take a moment now and let me give you a little tour of ManageHub. Okay, so the beautiful thing about ManageHub is that it works like a private social network. So this is a familiar interface that allows easy communication between people without having to have a face-to-face meeting or conference call or exchanging emails. And the way ManageHub works is it combines the organizational structure of the company defined by departments, and departments broken down into process teams, and process teams broken down into the individuals who perform and manage that one individual process area. So you'll notice that each one of these organizational elements is a clickable link. See that? So with one click, you could drill down and review the process workspace. And in this process workspace, you have all of the activities related to managing the improvement and documentation and systemization of this one process. So you see here, running down the center column, is a listing of all the activity of all the process team participants, sharing information, commenting on project issues, sharing documents, creating knowledge articles, and the rest. Also, you see your process team members. These process team members can be in one location or they could be all over the world. It doesn't matter. If they're performing this process, then they're a member of this workspace and they'll access the same information and they'll help continuously improve the company's performance of this one process. So instead of multiple manager ways of performing a process, which often happens in a geographically distributed company, or even multiple salespeople have different ways of selling, what you end up doing is you identify the best practice related to this process, and everybody shares it with one another, and it becomes documented here in this workspace. So all the knowledge is documented, all the ideas for improvement are documented, all the projects to improve are stored here. It's all contained here, and all these people are constantly alerted when there's something new. So for example, if I click on the logs, you'll see that people have identified issues that need to be resolved. For example, customer complaint or stone surface chipping, or customers are complaining about rude drivers. And then with one click, you can go to its workspace. And again, just like the process workspace, this workspace identifies all the people who are collaborating. And you also see what it's about. I have received several complaints about rude delivery drivers. And you clicking here, you could see all the other information related to it. And then you see a thread of the entire conversation. I said check out this attached pricing from a competitor that maybe we should switch to. I contacted a Messenger Inc. and I'll meet with them on Tuesday. Everybody's reporting what they know about how to resolve this issue. And then with one click, you can drill down and see more information, or share links, or share information. So, and then here too, if you want to go back to the process, you just click back on the process, and here we are back where we started. This is the value of ManageHub. It does two wonderful things. First, it creates a workspace to manage the documentation of all the processes. But then it gives each member of your organization an opportunity to report issues and problems and customer complaints that the entire process team, or the entire company even, can help resolve. So nothing is lost, and you create this wonderful continuous improvement cycle. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our document. And let me quickly now conclude and show you more about the engagement. So now you've seen the first phase of the engagement, where you've assessed, you've analyzed, and you've set up ManageHub. And now stage two is implementation, where you use the ManageHub quality model to onboard those process teams. And again, you can use the Breakthrough book and the ManageHub book as your textbooks, and it's utterly simple and very logical, and it resonates with people. And then stage three is to maintain an ongoing continuous improvement culture. And just to leverage everything that you've created, you can facilitate and monitor internal collaboration. You can mentor them through a strategic planning process. You could bring on Six Sigma automation experts for the final rough spots, or to really amp it up. You, of course, would monitor and facilitate project teams, and you would achieve the highest levels in your ManageHub quality model, level 5. Here, the key is that somebody has to be the conductor of quality within an organization. In smaller companies, they don't have somebody to be that oversight. Just like they don't have an accountant to do the oversight of their bookkeeping, they'll need you to log on and kind of view and see, are people contributing ideas? Are people following up and resolving those issues? And if not, you can step in and facilitate collaboration within the organization. One of our breakthroughisms, and there's many of them, is that collaboration does not happen by itself. It has to be managed. And who better to do that and help your clients do that than you? And you will serve a very valuable role if you do that. And something else I want to show you is how ManageHub creates this wonderful continuous improvement cycle, where it starts with people contributing their ideas, and it creates this wonderful online collaboration workspace. And by the way, every time somebody reports an idea or an issue, all the people who are associated with that process team or department will be alerted in their activity feeds within ManageHub, and also via email to their email accounts, and even using our daily report, which there's 2 different types of reports that they can receive once a day, including a newsfeed report that just provides them with a list of new items in their newsfeed. Once they've collaborated on the issue, they could use the integrated project management system within ManageHub to implement change. and they can use the integrated knowledge management system to document or update the process. What could this mean to your practice? So, like I might have mentioned before, I don't recall, we've already started training about 30 professionals using ManageHub. And now what I'm proposing is that we create a new cohort specifically for accountants. And I've actually created a web page with all the necessary information for you, which I'll share you that link in just one moment. But from my experience working with this first cohort, we've only been doing this since about July, and already many of these consultants are having wonderful success. And you could structure two types of engagements: ongoing one-on-one engagement or memberships in peer CEO roundtables where you train CEOs together as a group. And personally, I think the way to go is to start with a one-on-one engagement and graduate people into CEO roundtables. And what I'm trying to call this is the 3-to-1 approach. And now this cost structure is designed for a larger organization with 15 employees and over $1 million in sales. But the way the 3-to-1 works is you have from month 1 to 3, you charge $3,000 a month, and that covers basically the setup and the first stages of implementation. And then months 4 through 8 is a $2,000 a month engagement where you continue your monitoring and support of the implementation. And then it drops down to $1,000 a month until they reach level 4 of the ManageHub quality model. Then you invite them into your CEO roundtable, which is maintenance, which is about $500 a month. This is just one idea. Of course, if you're working with a small organization that just has, 1 or 2 people in it, then I wouldn't do this. I would actually invite them into a CEO roundtable off the start and have all your participants implement their turnaround or their business optimization process together as a cohort, and it could be $500 a month. It's not going to be very difficult, especially when you use the Breakthrough in the ManageHub books as your textbooks. So, next steps. If you'll go to breakthroughproject.com/accountants, you'll see I set up there a page for you with all the links that you need, including a link to join our first training certification. This will take you to MailChimp, which I use to just manage communication for our training cohorts. To complete the training, there's no tests. Instead, what we do is we have you write blog articles that explain how you would implement this with your clients, and then you can repurpose those blog post articles for your marketing. So any effort that you do in relation to our training, we want you to be able to leverage and use to actually build your practice and do outreach to your clients and fill your management advisory services funnel. Also, we'll ask you to create one workshop, a 60 to 90-minute workshop, where, of course, you still have access to all the workshops that we've created, and we even give you the links to our PowerPoint presentations to make it easy for you. And then to successfully implement 3 or so implementations. All the while, I'll be available to answer your questions one-on-one or in a group setting. And of course, this beta training is free while we optimize it and perfect it, but ultimately I won't be the one doing the training. Others will, and therefore the cost will be around $6,800. So right now it's free, so jump right in and participate with us. Also, I wanted to give you my contact information, mike@onthesystem.com. And my phone number is 847-675-8211. And if you're overseas, my Skype handle is on the system. I really hope you'll participate. I know this is perfect for accountants. And just on a personal note, I feel that many accountants have kind of given up their first call status and their most trusted advisor status. And I feel that this will bring us back and make you the most important advisor that your clients have, not for the interim, but on an ongoing long-term basis. So now I'm going to open this up for questions. I'm going to unmute everybody, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
I have a question. I just wanted to ask you if there's a particular size company that you're targeting or particular industries where it tends to work well.
So the beautiful thing about quality management is it's TOEFL. Quality management methodology like Baldrige works in any organization. All organizations, whether they're for-profit or non-for-profit, have customers, they have vendors, they have processes. What we're talking about here is relevant for any size company in any industry. Now, for ManageHub, it's going to be much more exciting, and they're going to have much more value if they have employees, because that whole collaboration piece will benefit them. However, that said, what startups and small organizations, the 1 and 2 person shop, lack is a central location where they can active documentation, identification and documentation of their processes. If they would do that one thing, they would become more scalable and more prepared for rapid growth. So when they do onboard employees, the knowledge would be retained by the company and would not become owned by those new employees. They could avoid a lot of those growing and slowing pains. So to answer your question, if it was me, it would be more exciting for me, and you could charge more for a larger organization, say 5 to 30 employees. That would be, I think, my sweet spot. Not too big and not too small, right? Just right. But you could create different kinds of products, service offerings for different sized organizations. So if you have the mom and pop 1 and 2 person shop, you can create a cohort just for them. You could set them up with workshops and graduate them into CEO roundtables. If they're an established firm with lots of employees, then you could do a one-on-one engagement and use the 3-2-1 type pricing structure, depending on what they can afford and their size, and go that route.
I have a question. You
Yes,
sent us to that URL, the breakthrough.com/accountants, and is it there that we sign up for this?
Yeah, breakthroughproject.com /accountants. And you could see there's a link to training, and it's a sign-up form using MailChimp.
Thank you. Got it. Good presentation, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.